200 days of hardcore Minecraft in an ocean world. It's honestly been a long time coming, and I won't bore you too much with the long intro, but if you haven't seen my first 100-day video, you should definitely check it out. As for these next 100 days, there's some things I want to achieve. Those things are, I want to be able to construct an entire emerald beacon. I also want to slay all the bosses, an elder guardian, the wither, and I want to resummon the dragon. And if you guys go on to enjoy this video, make sure you drop a like and subscribe. Also, let me know in the comments, do you guys want to see a 300 days of hardcore Minecraft? But for now, here's 200 days. Day 101, I wanted to hit the ground running because there was a lot of things I wanted to accomplish during these next 100 days, starting with my villager farms, actually. A lot of comments pointed out the fact that I needed more beds to be able to have my villagers start multiplying. Honestly, I don't know how I even forgot about that. So I moved my lectern back over to the farmer's place and laid down a couple beds so they could get to the baby making. I figured while the villagers are getting it on, I'd spend the rest of day 101 building a giant platform for a new villager house. By the time I was done, the villagers already popped out a baby. Day 102, because a lot of people like the blackstone builds I've been doing, I figured I would just continue that theme for the villager house. So I pretty much just spent the entire day of 102 in the nether, just grabbing a lot of blackstone and basalt, like a lot. That's when I realized while gathering all this blackstone and basalt, I really need to get some shulker boxes. Day 103 to 105, we're back at home and we're getting started on the new villager shake shack. You guys know I would take a good looking build over a functional build any day. So I spent the next 2 days pretty much just working on what I actually think turned out to be a really dope house. Day 104, I started the annoying and tedious process of moving these villagers. Somehow they continue to keep making babies, even when they didn't have enough beds. Honestly, I was more impressed than anything. Luckily, while moving them, I developed a pretty solid technique. I would set down a job and promise them a stable living and a good life. Then I would just take it away from them. And I would just kind of repeat that process all the way to the new house. Can't believe they fell for it every time. Day 105, I moved my final villager over and started making beds and jobs for everyone. I made sure that there was plenty of beds so they could just populate like crazy. Started doing a couple of trades just to lock them in. That's when I noticed the mob grinder was getting pretty full, so I hacked that thing down. How satisfying is that? It's actually working now for some reason. Day 106, I only had a few things left to do for the villagers. But first I wanted some eggs in the morning, so I ran through the chicken forest, proceeding to pick up eggs and birth the chickens. Afterwards, I'd farm a bunch of potatoes because with all these new villagers, I got a lot of mouths to feed. And pretty much the last big event of the day, I wanted to get a bunch of sand so then I could start making glass and fill in all the windows at the villager house. Some people were getting pretty triggered that I didn't put any windows in my house in the last 100 days, but honestly, I kind of like the ability to just jump out a window whenever I want to. It kind of just feels right. After patiently waiting for all the sand to cook, Day 107, I grabbed all the glass and began finishing up the Shake Shack. While waiting for more sand to cook, I was shoveling a bunch of flint so that I can start making some Fletchers, because stick trades are honestly just the best. They're just so easy to get so much, and you make so much money. After setting up some Fletchers and locking in their trades, I finished up the last window, and honestly, I really like the way this house turned out. Day 108, I was getting pretty sick of dealing with villagers, so I needed a break. I decided to make an automatic sugarcane farm. So I began crafting some observers and some hoppers, and that is until a little villager kid escaped from the jail. I mean the Shake Shack. Luckily, they decided to leave me alone for forever. While getting everything all set up for the sugarcane farm, I realized I was running pretty low on iron. Possibly an iron farm in the future? Probably. But for now, I spent the rest of day 108 down in the mines trying to get as much iron as I could. And of course, I got some diamonds. Day 109 to 110, I started off by building a blast furnace because I don't know why it took me this long to make it, but yep, those exist. But that definitely helps speed along the process. I won't bore you too much with the details since this sugarcane farm is pretty self-explanatory, or at least I thought. I mean, it took me 2 days to remember how to make this thing, but after laying some rails and slapping some redstone on it, it was coming together. After finishing up the build, I tested it out and it looks like everything's working perfectly. Now I can have a steady supply of sugarcane for fireworks and paper. Day 111, today was a bit of an adventure day. I grabbed some fireworks and slapped on the elytra because we're flying over to the stronghold. I wanted to run through it, looting all the chests that I could find, but most importantly, I wanted to find some bookshelves so I could just have a big supply of books for villager trades. After finding the library, I began chopping down all that knowledge. And yes, I looted the chests, don't worry. They're pretty dookie as always. After clearing out the room, I realized that there's some potential. This could be a cool build sometime in the future. But for now, we head home. I honestly didn't even realize how many bookshelves I had. I started setting them up in the enchantment room and I realized there's just too many, so I started putting some in the bedroom and stored the rest. Day 112, I started off by doing some trades. I bought myself a mending book because the elytra elytra neat. All right, yeah. I have a typo here and it's like throwing me off as I read it. There we go. I bought myself a mending book so I could put it on my elytra. With all this flying I'm doing, I'm gonna need it. After upgrading the elytra, I went to the mob grinder to heal it back up. The rest of day 112 was spent pretty much just doing random stuff. I decided I wanted to make a garbage disposal instead of throwing all my materials out into the ocean. All I needed to do was go to the nether, get a bucket of lava. After wandering around for a bit, I had the perfect idea. I decided to tear down the old villager hut and build a new storage room where I could store all my building blocks and have my garbage disposal. But after tearing down the villager hut, I realized the platform's uneven, as always. I don't know how I keep doing this. But luckily, I've become a pro at fixing them, and it didn't take that long. Day 113, I began construction on the storage room. I didn't need it to be too flashy. I mean, it was just going to be storing a few chests. But one thing's for sure, I didn't want to end up making a cupcake roof. All right, look, I'll fix it. All right, calm down. After breaking a couple of blocks, no, not really a cupcake roof anymore, right? Looks okay. Day 114, I pretty much just spent the entire day setting up the chests and organizing my storage. This was a long and tedious process that reminds me how much I need a shulker box. So on day 115, I decided it was time to go get some shulker shells. So I set out on an adventure to go to the end. This time around, I already knew where the end city was, and I had an elytra to get around. So that would save me a bunch of time. After getting to the end city, I was greeted by some snart rockets. After slaying the bouncers at the door, I decided that why not? You know, I'm already here. Might as well climb this thing, slaying as many shulkers as I could. Or try at least. I mean, I did my best. After getting all the shulker shells I came for, I figured why not loot a couple chests. I tried to break the end chests, but it turned into obsidian. Do I need silk touch? I mean, this is kind of a noob moment. I'm sorry. I don't usually use these things. I don't know. I'm not too worried about it right now. Because we're heading home with all the shulker shells we came for. After getting home, I crafted all my shulker boxes and spent the rest of the day hanging out with the chickens and chopping some trees. Day 116, I started off by enchanting a new diamond axe, because I was getting pretty tired of using silk touch on everything. Afterwards, I remember I found a piece of bamboo out of a shipwreck a little while ago. So I figured I would add it to the sugarcane farm since it pretty much grows the same. That's when I realized the minecart didn't really travel all the way over to the bamboo, so it's kind of pointless. I really didn't feel like tearing it apart right now because we got another adventure to go on. So I healed up my elytra at the mob grinder and I realized it was breaking pretty fast because it didn't actually have unbreaking on it. So I crafted another lectern for my villagers in hopes of being able to get an unbreaking book. But it took me the rest of the day just to be able to get them to sell me an unbreaking book. Day 117, I equipped my elytra with unbreaking and we set off. My goal was to find the lonely chicken that we left stranded on the island in the first 100 days. A lot of people felt bad for him and said I should go back for him. The only problem is I couldn't really remember the exact coordinates of where I left him. After traveling for almost an entire day, I found a new larger island that I had never seen before. I started to question if I was even going in the right day. I was starting to question if I was even going in the right direction. That is until on day 118, I managed to find an island that once had sugarcane on it. And this island actually wasn't that far away from where I found island chicken. So I knew I was getting close. But I continued to fly farther and farther until I finally found what looked like the island that I left him at. After landing, I found feathers floating in the water. Now either I dropped those 7 feathers when I left him, or a drowned with looting 3 killed my island chicken. Either way, island chicken was gone. It was a sad day. Day 119, I pretty much spent the entire day traveling back home. I was running out of fireworks, so I landed on an island to get some sugarcane and sleep. That's when I realized this island kind of shaped like a giant volcano. I thought it was impressive and worth showing. Day 120, we're back at home. I decided to start the day off by picking up all the eggs in the chicken forest and making a tomb for the island chicken. But that's when chicken 103 was murdered by a tree. 103 was one of my favorites. Yes, I definitely kept track of all my chickens. Don't question that. Of course, I gave the tree what it deserved as well. But now I had to make 2 tombstones. It was truly a sad day. For the rest of day 120, I pretty much just spent doing miscellaneous things around the base. And I started fixing the sugarcane farm as well. Day 121, I decided it was time to slay an elder guardian. The idea of drowning to death haunts me every single day in this world. So I grabbed my respiration helmet and decided to see how long I could survive underwater without any potions. Turns out a while, but I didn't want to trust my helmet and just some doors. So I decided to start hunting down the ever so elusive pufferfish. After a couple close calls, I returned back to the lab where I started cooking up some underwater breathing potions. And I figured since I'm already here, I might as well be a bit extra, you know, and make some potions of strength as well. Wait, did I just seriously make a mundane potion? Yeah. After making the right potion this time, I got a good night's sleep, so I could clap that elderfish in the morning. Day 122, I started off by farming because I realized that if I don't come back from this adventure, my villagers are gonna starve. So after gathering up all the potatoes, I fed them what could be their last meal. Afterwards, I hopped in the Brown Pearl and I sailed off to the nearest ocean monument. I wanted to try to sneak sneak up on it and get some gold before I got mining fatigue. Now, the trick to this is you just sneak around through the back. I drank my underwater breathing potion. Are you serious? I seriously got mining fatigue already? Well, that plan failed. So now I'm just gonna try swimming through the front door. But after going through the front door, I realized it was apparently blocked off. There was literally no way for me to go through this thing. So my only choice is to sit and wait for the mining fatigue to go away. Really? It reset before it ran out? After giving up on this monument, I decided to sail over to another one nearby. This time I was going to try the trick where you lower your render distance all the way down, and the Elder Guardian doesn't really load in yet. But while sitting and waiting for the mining fatigue to go away, it started to get dark out, so I figured I'd sail home and sleep. Day 123, today's the day I clapped that fish. I sailed back over to the ocean monument with limited vision. Okay, I needed to turn it back up just a little bit just to be able to find the thing. I started getting a little lost. After locating the ocean monument, I swam in through the back. I immediately got lost inside and got miner's fatigue, but that's okay because luckily I found my target. Oh, well, that was easier than I thought. I figured while I still had my potion effects, I decided I might as well swim over and clap another Elder Guardian and get as many sponges as I can. After beating his fish sticks, oh, that sounds wrong. After clapping that Elder Guardian, I wanted to wait and see if I still get mining fatigue, since there isn't any Elder Guardians left. But after waiting a while, mining fatigue reapplied. And with my underwater breathing potion running out, I figured it would probably be best if I just try to get out and sail home. Day 124, I realized my axe and shovel still aren't netherite, so I figured I can go TNT mining in the nether for some ancient debris. Only problem is I keep running out of sand somehow. So I swam to the edge of the reef and I shoveled sand for the entire day. Yes, entire day. I'm so tired of having to go get sand. Day 125, I accidentally left Minecraft open while eating some dino nuggies. I even tweeted about it. Day 126 to 129, I crafted all the TNT I had, grabbed my gold boots and hopped into the nether. Going into this, I was thinking, man, it shouldn't take too long, right? I only need what, like 8 ancient debris? Boy, was I wrong, because I wasn't nearly as lucky as I was the first time. After using all my TNT, it revealed no ancient debris. I spent the next 2 days just mindlessly swinging my pickaxe to try to find some. I don't know how I did this in the first 100 days. I was going crazy in here, but after getting all the ancient debris I needed, I left immediately. Day 130, we're back in the overworld, and I finally got my netherite axe and shovel. In the moment, I was pretty excited, but honestly, looking back on it, I'm mildly disappointed in myself. After all this adventuring, I decided it was time to do some epic builds at home. And with the overflow of iron golems at the Shake Shack, I decided to make an iron golem farmer. I pretty much spent the rest of the day building the circle platform. You should be proud of me. I didn't mess it up this time. Day 131, I began constructing the farmer. And no, this is not my design. I stole it from someone else. I'll have their video linked down below. It's honestly a pretty easy, straightforward build. That is until you got to start moving villagers. I figured laying down some rails and building a staircase all the way up to the farm, that it should be pretty easy, right? Wrong. I needed 5 villagers up there. I spent the rest of day 131 trying to get 2 villagers up there. One of them just kept running away and avoiding the minecart entirely. He knew he was going to get locked up there in that bubble for the rest of his life. The other villager was a pretty willing participant. Day 131, I began constructing the farmer. Oh wait, what? I just read that one. What the hell? That tripped me up. Day 132, I realized you only need 2 to tango. With these 2, I could have them spawn the other 3 villagers I'm going to need. So I started the day off by giving them all the potatoes I had. While they're having a good time up in their perch, I started farming more because, well, I needed more potatoes. While waiting for them to populate, I continued to build. I mean, it only took a few more blocks and walls and a little bit of lava, and it was just a waiting game for the last couple villagers to spawn. Day 133, I decided to add a small AFK room to the bottom of the iron farm. I don't know why I did this, considering I try not to AFK as much as I can in these 100 days, but I feel like it makes the farmer look a lot cooler. Honestly, the more I'm doing these blackstone builds, the more I'm starting to like them. Also, the first iron golem spawned, but not really in the right spot. I realized I needed to place some bottom slabs on the top of the AFK box, so that the only place that iron golems could spawn is up top in the cage. Now it's working perfectly. Day 134 to 138, we're definitely on track to hitting our goals for this 100 days. But the next thing on the list is to slay the wither boss. For that, we're going to need to go to another fortress. Try to farm as many withers as we can. Luckily, I got a looting 2 swords, so it shouldn't take that long, right? Oh boy, was I wrong. I slayed wither after wither after wither. I ran around this fortress for 4 straight days slaying wither skellies. That is until on day 139, I started running a little bit low on food. I knew I was going to have to return to the overworld soon, but before leaving, I figured I'd try to better my chances with the wither skelly spawns. So I began constructing a giant platform made out of nether bricks. I've used this strategy in the past, so I knew it would work. And finally, on my way out of the nether, I got my first wither skull. I can't believe after all this time, time, I finally got one. This definitely made me realize that looting 2 is just not gonna cut it. After returning home, I placed my wither skull on the shelf and made tons of golden carrots to make sure that I wasn't gonna be running out of food anytime soon. Day 140, I decided to try to get looting 3 on my sword by having a villager sell me a looting book. So I made another lectern and began the process of giving a job, taking it away, all the way up until they finally give me what I want. But like always when dealing with villagers, it takes so long. I was doing this for an entire day before he started selling me looting 2. I quickly grabbed my bling bling and equipped it onto my sword, making it looting 3. Even though I had looting 2 and the book is 2 and 2 plus 2 equals 4, but that's Minecraft. Day 141 to 143, we're back in the nether. And I'm back to skelly hunting. But luckily, my giant platform strategy was working. Wither skellies were spawning much quicker. It wasn't long before I got my second skull, but then we hit a dry spell. No matter how many wither skellies I clapped, I just could not get that third skull. That is until on day 144 when I noticed another fortress in the distance. I figured it could be pretty refreshing running around a new fortress. Besides, I'd also be able to get some new chests. So I figured I'd zoom on over. After arriving, I ran around looting all the chests that I could find, and it wasn't too long until I started running into wither skellies. Oh. Yo, I got my last one. New fortress, new me, baby. Now that we got our third skull, it's time to head home. Day 145, we started off by chopping some trees in the chicken forest because I wanted to get some more apples to turn into golden apples before we got to go fight the wither boss. I figured while waiting for the leaves to decay, I could just work on the potato farm. Afterwards, I crafted as many golden apples as I could. Honestly, it wasn't even worth it. I could only make 2. And at the end of the day, I noticed another chicken suffered from a growing tree. So it was time to make another tombstone. Get another sad day out of these 100 days. But day 146, I started getting a little bit nervous leading up to this wither boss fight. I wanted to make sure I wasn't gonna die. So I decided to start making some potions of regeneration. But for that, I was gonna need some gas tiers. So back to the nether we go. I basically had to fly around playing Ghostbusters in the nether for pretty much the rest of the day, and just to be able to even get 1 gas tier. But 1 was gonna be enough. So it's time to head home. Day 148, wither clapping day. I spent all morning brewing up all the potions I was gonna need. Luckily, I still got some potions of strength left over from the Guardian fight. After brewing potions, it was time. I went down to the mine shaft because I had already had a long tunnel from all the mining I've been doing. All I had to do was clear out a bit of room to construct the wither. I stepped away and drank my potion of strength. After its initial explosion, I started unloading arrows into it. After it developed its shield, I popped my potion of regeneration and moved in and started hitting it with my sword. The withering effect was doing some serious Wait, it's over already? Maybe I was a little bit too over prepared for this. I even got so caught up that I didn't even realize I still had my elytra on. Whatever, because we got another star now. Day 149, I started off by crafting a new beacon. But I didn't want to just place this beacon onto a regular iron or gold block. Like I said, one of my goals is to make a beacon entirely out of emeralds. Because we about that green, baby. But for that much green, I was going to need to start doing some serious trades with villagers. But these villager trades take some time. Like seriously, a lot of time. I spent the next 14 days trading with villagers. I traded everything. Sticks, gold, rotten flesh, anything that could get me emeralds. This was a really long and tedious process. So I'll just give you a summary so we can just jump through it. Day 152, I pretty much turned the last of my wood supply into sticks. So I needed to figure out another good source of emeralds, which then I realized that I could actually sell gold. And so on day 153, I spent the entire day in the nether mining as much gold as I could with my fortune pickaxe. We definitely cashed out and got a lot. Day 153, I realized that one of my villagers buys books for 1 emerald. I mean, I got a lot of bookshelves from the stronghold, so I began chopping down all that knowledge and turned it into hard cash. Day 156, I fed everyone potatoes because I wanted more villagers for more stonks. Day 157, I remembered that cartographers actually buys glass panes, which that could make a lot of money. So I built an auto smelter in the storage house and started smelting down all the sand I got into glass. Day 159, I finally started running out of books, so I flew over to the stronghold to get more knowledge. Luckily, there were still a few stacks of books in there. Day 160, I went... Day 160. Day 160, I went to the nether and grabbed tons of wood. I could turn it into sticks so that I can continue to make huge profits. That's when I realized I could actually grab some gold out of the bastion. Luckily, I got a pretty easy bastion. I knew where all the hidden gold was in this thing. So I grabbed a few blocks without even having to fight any piggy boys. Day 161, I then sold everything I got in the nether on 160. I still think stick trades are the best. You just make so much money off of it. Day 163, I finally got all the blocks that we're gonna need for the beacon. Well, give or take a few blocks. I might need to do some more trades, but at least I already knew where I was gonna build this thing because I had plenty of time to figure it out. I wanted to build a raised platform over near the docks. They have a giant emerald beacon just sitting in front of the base. After I constructed the platform, I laid down all the emerald blocks. It was literally a pyramid flex machine. Day 164, I don't really have anything in my notes on this day. I actually think I took a nap. Hey man, those villager trades are exhausting. Day 165, I started off by adjusting the platform with the beacon. I started off the day by adjusting the platform with the beacon because the more I looked at it, the more I'm not really vibing with all that cobblestone. So I started smelting down some rocks so that I can make prettier rocks. Afterwards, I decided to work on the farm. Honestly, it was just kind of a relaxing day and I didn't get much done other than just some household chores. Day 166, I realized that I've been sleeping on my trident. I mean, not literally, but all right, that was a bit of a dad joke. So today's the day I'm gonna enchant it. After taking it to the enchantment table, I managed to get channeling on it. I then used a mending book. Then I remembered that one of my villagers actually sells riptide too. So I grabbed my bling bling and I bought some of that knowledge. But that's when I found out that you couldn't have channeling and riptide at the same time. Honestly, in this ocean world, I'd think I'd rather have riptide. So I ended up actually wasting a mending book and a lot of levels. Yeah, I know. I'm not proud of myself. Afterwards, I threw that thing back on the enchantment table and chose Impaling 4, but it actually also gave me Riptide 3, which means I wasted emeralds on... Never mind. I then added another mending book, healed it up at the mob grinder, and I pretty much spent the entire day just yeeting that thing in the ocean. That's when I found out that I could actually throw it and still use my elytra in the air. This actually meant that I wasn't going to be needing fireworks while getting around in the overworld. However, on day 166, I was still going to need fireworks because we're heading back into the nether. Since I wanted to defeat all the bosses in these 100 days, I'm going to have to get some more gas tiers so I can be able to make end crystals, and then I can be able to revive the dragon. However, I had this not so bright idea of trying to slay the gas with my looting 3 sword in hopes of getting more tiers to drop. Now, this was not only super risky, but also not really effective, considering that most of the gas are just floating above giant lava lakes anyways. So pretty much all the items would just fall right in the lava. But luckily, with some grinding and some time, we managed to get 6 gas tiers by the end of the day. Day 168, we're back at home and we're crafting those end crystals. I figured that since I still had a potion of strength left over, I might as well use it just to nuke the dragon. So I grabbed my trident and my elytra and I flew through the air and water, whatever. After arriving at the end, I ran over to the dragon's perch, set down those end crystals, and began summoning the beast. I'm not going to bore you too much with the details. I'll just have I won't bore you too much with the details. I'll just have Jake, my editor, give you a sick montage of me busting this dragon's cheeks. I meant cheeks, damn it. Day 169. Nice. I decided that since I'm getting overran with all these iron golems because of the villagers, I might as well start getting rid of them. The Shake Shack's just getting a little bit too crowded and I need some more room for my villagers. So I literally spent the entirety of day 169 just chopping away at all these iron golems. Day 170, I was getting a little bit curious whether or not I could buy a woodland mansion off of a cartographer. After leveling him all the way up to master, he wouldn't sell me one. Now this is either because there isn't one in this entire world or because he's being a lame boy and just won't give me what I want. I decided to add a little shack in the back of the Shake Shack. Sounds weird. So that I can move some villagers in a minecart to transform them into a zombie and then cure them to get better trades. I know there's better ways of doing this, but come on now, we committed to having a better looking house than a functional house. While waiting for zombies to spawn in the mini shack, I got attacked by an enchanted spider. Honestly, kind of scared the crap out of me, but at the same time, thought it looked pretty amazing. No, hey, look, we actually got 2 zombies in the shack. Well, I only need one, so goodbye. Day 171. I bought a name tag from my book boy. Thought I could give it to the new zombie. I named him Project, no. Smelly, no. The Clapper. And then I got him a sword so that he could do some more damage and transform the villagers even faster. Unfortunately, when I tried to give him the sword, though, it got sucked through the ground because of the boat. After retrieving the sword, I gave it back to him carefully this time to make sure his butterfingers can actually get a hold of that thing. Now all I had to do was lay down some rails and push a villager in. My cartographer kept avoiding the minecart because he knew it would just mean the end for him. But I had a Fletcher that gladly hopped in to be my first experiment. But after he transformed, he somehow got knocked out of the cart and put in the boat with the Clapper. I mean, I guess I could just leave him there so it won't happen again. A worthy sacrifice. Day 172, I sent another Fletcher in to get zombified because I was hoping that it would reset his trades. But I'm dumb and that's not how it works. After he became a smelly boy, all the villagers ran to the opposite side of the house. And then they started crowding around the door, making it hard for me to get out. Don't worry, guys. I'm gonna clean him. And like I said, I'm pretty dumb and I didn't know that it wouldn't reset their trades. So I also sent in my cartographer to get zombified. Later on, I walked back in to check on the villagers and my zombie Fletcher had vanished. Somehow he actually managed to fall through the floor. So I grabbed the brown pearl and swooped him back up. But he wouldn't cooperate with me when I was trying to get him to go home. For some reason, he just kept going back to my blast furnace and using it like a fletching table. God, I honestly hate villagers sometimes. After finally getting my Fletcher home, it turned out that the cartographer also fell through the floor. Like I said, it didn't reset his trades and I wasted a lot of time. Day 173, I did what I should have done from the start, which is just make more villagers so then I can have more jobs. So I was just making it rain on potatoes for everybody. While waiting for the villager babies to grow up, I started working on the base a bit. Like one of the things is I added some more armor stands in the bedroom so I could start showing off all the types of armors I got. And of course, I enchanted some and wasted a couple of levels just so they could look cooler. Day 174, we're being taken over by the iron golems again. But also one of the kids got a little too close to the Clapper. But one of the other ones grew up and became a cartographer. So I began leveling him up and selling him paper and glass in hopes that I'd be able to get that woodland mansion map. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. I'm pretty sure it's just because this world unfortunately doesn't have one, even though I've seen those things spawn on giant towers of cobblestone before. Day 175, I was doing a bit of research on pillagers because I realized that we haven't had any spawn in this world yet. It turned out that they could spawn pretty much in any biome, but as long as they're a certain distance away from the player. So I grabbed a bunch of cobblestone and created this platform not too far away from the base so I could better my odds getting them to spawn. Day 176. Oh my god, I've been waiting to get to this point. I thought it's been a while since we've done some traveling, so I decided now that we got the elytra, we could get some pretty good distance going. I hopped in the nether and started flying until I found a pretty big fortress where I was burned by a blaze and reminded that I wasn't welcome. So I decided to make a portal and leave. And we even managed to get that Hubble Space Bubble achievement because we actually ended up going about 11,000 blocks away from home. So I set off. And nope, never mind. I forgot to put on my elytra. Now we're off. So a little backstory. Originally on this adventure, I wanted to try to find an island big enough that maybe it can have some dirt and grass blocks. It just kind of turned into me getting lost at sea and trying my best to survive for the next 14 days. I managed to find a lot of tiny islands out on this adventure, but nothing big enough that'll have a grass block. All the islands were just tiny baby islands. At the end of day 179, but at the end of day 179, I found the biggest island yet. It was shaped kind of like a giant square. This was honestly one of the most exciting things that happened while I was out on this adventure. I was also running a little bit low on food. I was down to my last 10 potatoes. Worst comes to worst, I know I could just loot a ship or go fishing, but being lost at sea was definitely taking its toll on me. I'd catch myself dozing off while recording this at 1 a.m. Don't sleep and fly on hardcore mode, kids. And on day 180, I managed to find another pretty large island. After finding this island, I was coming to terms with the fact that if there's an island this big that doesn't have a grass block, I don't think any island will. I left, but then I realized it was getting dark. But by the time I turned back around to go sleep on the island, a ton of mobs spawned. But hey, I figured this could be pretty fun, take a break from flying and start hacking away at all the mobs. But their numbers kept growing and I realized that I'm just taking up too much damage and losing a lot of food. So I chose to find a different island to sleep at. Day 185, I was running pretty low on fireworks, so I figured I should start using my trident to get around. Honestly, this was way more fun and I don't know why I wasn't doing it from the start. But I managed to find another decent sized island and this time there was a cave. I figured it was worth double checking on the inside to try to find a grass block. Honestly, I was just getting a bit desperate, and spoiler alert, there wasn't any grass block. And on day 188, the most exciting day of this entire trip, I managed to find another exposed stronghold. I figured that since I'm completely out of food and losing my mind flying around, I might as well just take a break from traveling, go loot this thing. After running out of books, turning all into emeralds, I figured, hey, might as well just, you know, clear out this library. Day 190, I actually found a tiny island, a very familiar tiny island, one that I'm pretty sure I found in the first 100 days. So I left into the direction that I think my home would be, and to my surprise, it was. We finally found home. Oh my god, I was so excited. I immediately started cooking potatoes. Day 191, I felt pretty eager to build something after that long adventure, but I didn't want to just build anything. I wanted to build a monument to commemorate these last 100 days. So the first thing I was going to need was a wither skull, which I literally got from my second wither. It just kills me how random these things are. I'm rambling. Day 192, I'll be honest, I got a late start to the day. But the next stop was going to be the end. So I made my way into the stronghold, hopped into the portal, and I was going to need to grab an ender dragon head from the end ship that I got my elytra. I honestly don't know why I didn't grab this the last time I came. Either way, after arriving at the end ship, I realized that there wasn't a dragon head. I was a bit confused, but I spent the rest of the day passing by end city after end city trying to find another ship. That is until on day 193. We got ourselves a ship. I boarded that bad boy and grabbed all the diamond gear out of the chest as well as the elytra. Oh, and of course the dragon's head, because that's what we're here for. Luckily, there was also a portal nearby, so I was able to make it home pretty easily. You might be wondering why the screen's black for day 194 and 195. That's because I literally mined. That's because I literally shoveled so much sand and cooking it all up to make glass for this monument. I mean, do you really want to see me do that again? Day 196 to 199, and I spent constructing this beautiful monument in front of the base. I wanted something to look at that I can remember these last 100 days and everything that we've achieved. And yes, I used a sponge for the Elder Guardian instead of a fish because then I would have needed an item frame and that would have been ugly. And on day 200, B-roll day, recap all the things that we've built in these last 100 days. If you guys enjoyed these 200 days, make sure to drop a comment if you guys would like to see 300 days, because I could get a lot of things going on 300 days. I also wanted to say thank you for all the support on these videos, guys. I do really appreciate it. And remember, if you guys haven't seen the first 100 days, make sure you go check it out. And I will see you guys in the next one.